Good evening. And it's middle of the night if you're in Europe, but if you're in Australia, it should be around noonish, I would say. Is that correct? I'm going to give a second for peeps to jump on. What's up, my quarantinos? My quarantinos. You are affectionately termed, if you're paying attention to this, I can affectionately call you my fellow Quarantino. It's good to have you. Welcome. I see some of you jumping on. My good man, my good friend, Dr. Russell Kennedy is in full effect. Just doing the best I can to enjoy this beautiful weather. It's absolutely gorgeous here in Vancouver. You can see outside, there's a nice snow-capped mountains over there. I'm taking my camera onto the other side. I want you to see the gorgeous harbor in Vancouver. It's just beautiful outside, and just putting my little webcam on there. I wanted to see, how are you? What's going on? We had our Facebook Live earlier today. I have to tell you, I'm exhausted. Not only am I jet lagged from Thailand, but I've had, count them, 7 interviews today. 7. This concept is going viral. People are needing this more than ever. I'm so grateful I stepped off. I wanted to acknowledge Phoebe. Phoebe is my coach who I hired. I joined her program a couple of weeks ago. I don't know, could you put a link down there, Phoebe, in your thing? I'd love to introduce. Could you put that link down there? I'm requesting that you do. Phoebe helped me a great deal because I was stuck in a place where I knew what my gifts were. I just didn't know how to communicate them in a way where it just felt in alignment with my soul. And Phoebe helped bring that out of me, and I'm super grateful for you. And she has this program that is amazing, that helps you if you're wanting to become better at, sharing your voice in the market, especially with all these changing times. She's been really great at helping me reposition what I do so that I could maximize my gifts for the public, for the people. And so it's been really working. And so it's never been a better time to actually learn how to regulate your nervous system. It's literally the most important thing you can learn right now. And I'm looking, there's currently 4 nervous systems that are in the same sphere. And what is my promise to you? My promise to you is that every single time that you attend one of my trainings, that you leave here with a completely regulated nervous system, which means feeling safe in your body, feeling like your heart is open, feeling like you now know what the next move is going to be. Because the biggest challenge that I see that people have been coming in this specific time that people reach out is, I don't know what to do right now. What do I do right now when there's so much uncertainty? It's kind of like we've been used to living in this autopilot with go, 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 head down, scrolling through, living unconsciously, and then everything in our lives has caused a wake-up call. It's shaken everything up, and it's gone, okay, so what's going on? Well, crap, what are my relationships like? What's my health like? I'm spending a lot of time with my family, and I'm feeling quite disconnected. It's like a massive upheaval. It's a wake-up call. It's uncomfortable. The collective is getting to look. It's an opportunity at the collective for us to really look at our lives. That's the benefit of crisis. So blessed to be able to deliver this message to you at this time, because if all of this happened 18 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to be as resourced in myself as I am now to be able to give you this information, this healing information. My vision is for healing to go viral instead of fear, misinformation, judgment, scarcity. That's all gone viral. If you look at that picture right there, that's the picture of the earth. I'm going to consistently, in every training that I do here, this is my apartment, Usually I have this place up on Airbnb. It's a fat pad. It's a fat crib that does very well on Airbnb normally, but nobody's booking. So I might as well quarantine myself here in paradise and give myself an opportunity to just really allow whatever work that I'm kind of integrating within myself to come through me and to share with you for the sole purpose of having you feel more grounded and centered in your heart, the inner leader that's within you to emerge, because there's people that are looking at you right now, and I'm just reminding you, there's people that are looking at you right now and they're sensing you. Just like my dog Lucy looks up at me whenever there's a loud noise, she looks right at me first because she's trying to sense from my nonverbal cues what's the tone of my nervous system so she can determine if it's safe or not. Have you noticed your dog's doing that? Now here's the crazy part. Your kids are doing it to you. They're checking in and they're watching how you're dealing with this adversity. And every time I get on a call with you twice a day to help support you through this, the first thing that I'm going to do is to remind you that that's what's happening, and that they're likely, if they're going into that mainstream conversation, because remember, the level of conversation that you have is that you have with others is your world, is the energy of your world. So I'm committed to a conversation that rises above all of the mass hysteria on that planet and has it in a form of, wow, let's look at possibility. Instead of scarcity, let's use that as an opportunity to heal ourselves. What do? Well, I can't do much out there except to experience my triggers and whatever's coming up, and to use that as an opportunity to go back to the actual cause, the background wounding that this is coming from, and to resource it and to fill the cracks in the floorboard, as my good friend Dr. Russell Kennedy taught me how to do. And if it wasn't for Russ's assistance in this journey to help integrate and help me integrate, and now when I was going through that challenge of crisis 18 months ago, he kept saying, he said, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like a wizard. It's in about 18 months, 12 months, 18 months, 13 months, you're going to say, this is the best thing that ever happened to you. And I'm like, after about 6 months, I'm like, I'm not saying it yet, but I can honestly say now, thanks to everything I went through back then, which had me diving into the work I'm sharing with you right now, I was able to fill those cracks and really ground and stabilize myself. And if you take a look around you, it's those leaders who've taken the time to do that inner work, to do that healing. They're the ones standing firm in these uncertain times. They're the ones. They're the ones that are like, hey, it's more than okay. You're going to be okay. We got this. We're in this together, right? And mean it. And so the first thing that I'm going to get you to do is just to, as you're sitting here, become consciously aware. There's the two things that you can do for your nervous system to regulate it. In every moment where you feel the overwhelm, you pause, and I'm going to get you to do two things. And I'm going to get you to keep practicing these two things to make them a habit. You're consciously incompetent at this right now, but after doing this a little bit, you'll start being consciously incompetent. Okay? You're unconsciously incompetent. Now you're going to move to conscious incompetence, which is the learning curve. Then you get to conscious competence. That's after practicing this work for about 3 to 6 months, according to our clients, 3 to 6 months. And what is that work? It's that moment of unconsciousness where you become aware that you're in a state of alarm. And if you followed from yesterday's, I'm asking you about what level of nervous system are you at? Are you in ventral vagal, where you're feeling kind of happy and joyous, easy-go-lucky, happy-go-lucky, easygoing, playful, fun? That's the ideal. That's your best self. And yesterday's lesson in the morning was really to help you get acquainted with what level of nervous system am I at? It's very wise for you to know, because if you don't know, then you can't change it. And if you don't know you, other people will be acting in different ways, and then you'll take it personally rather than seeing it for what it really is, a human being with a dysregulated nervous system who's literally projecting their fears onto you in every moment. Take a look around you. Is that what your family's been doing? You know, that's what your family's been doing. That's what people around you have been doing. And it's the leaders that we look up to who are actually stable and steady at those times. And the reason why you're here is because you want to become one of those leaders. That's why you're here. Leader of a tribe, leader of a company, leader of your children. Because your nervous system regulation, the tone, is actually, that has an ability to impact others. That you're on this planet, that you can't stay, and that every experience you've gone through leaves some sort of a stain on your nervous system, and your body keeps the score. And everywhere you go on this planet, you bump up against old wounds. And you either turn around and attack those those external things and blame those external things and play victim to those external things, like most of humanity is doing right now, and hoping that Trump or Q or the Fed or whoever is going to bail them out and help save them. Or you can then become one of the precious few of the people on that planet who are going to emerge as leaders and say, I have a gift that I'm going to give myself permission to share that helps to alleviate other people's suffering. That's what you have, whether it's family, whether it's helping children, whether it's helping businesses, entrepreneurs, whether it's you're an artist and you have some sort of a creation that gets us into the moment, out of our heads into the moment, and experiencing your emotions when you created that art or that piece of music. When your nervous system is functioning, that creative center, that prefrontal cortex, the ventral vagal system's going, we feel connection, we have access to those gifts. But when your nervous system is dysregulated, you completely get shut down from those gifts. When my nervous system is regulated, I lose connection with my purpose. You know, that's like my biggest fear right now, is like, oh my gosh, what the hell? Everybody's worried what's going to happen next. What I want you to do, instead of worrying what's going to happen next, I'm going to invite you to have a different fear. And not fear in a form of threat, but I want you to be more afraid of losing connection with your purpose. Clouds and dirt. The clouds of the purpose of what you want to achieve, and the dirt of the grounding of who you are and the wounding that brought you here. You must be, this is what I've learned, you must be intimately connected with it in your body. You must be aware of where you came from and the wounding that brought you here. And when you do, you become conscious. You're like, whatever's happening here is not about what's happening here. And as long as I'm in the unknown and I don't know what my next move is, if I'm disconnected from the wounded younger self that this moment in time is bringing up, then I have no access to self-soothing. I have no access to my inner calling, my inner voice, the calling of my soul that's moving me forward, that's always wanting to emerge through me, through my voice. I've blocked access to that. But when I get this right, all of a sudden, I have access to it. And then I enter the unknown, fully resourced, with a clear instruction from my inner self. And that voice will say things like, this morning I woke up in a state of alarm again, you know, one bad news after another. I have an aura ring. I noticed my heart rate spiking up very high in the morning, and I made the mistake, because I have a pregnant woman at home and I'm concerned. I wake up and I check my phone to make sure she's okay. And then I get sucked in, and then I start reading all of that stuff, and I notice my heart rate going up. And so I teach you this because I need it the most. And I think to myself, oh crap, I have a call today at 11 where I'm going to be teaching you how to deal with uncertainty. Crap, I'm in a massive state of uncertainty right now. What do I do? So it actually, because of that responsibility that I placed upon myself, all of a sudden, now I have a deeper purpose, a bigger why. And then all of a sudden, just a few weeks ago, I discover I'm going to be a father, and that now gives me a bigger why. And when he who has a why that's big enough can bear almost any how. So part of the kind of sneakiness of me having you here is to help you take some sort of a responsibility, because that's part of your nervous system regulation. The second that I tell you this question, watch this. If you have written it down, some of you haven't yet, but what I want you to do is think about this. Who are you doing this for? I want you to write the names in the comment section. Who is this for? Don't say my kids. I want to hear their names. I want their specific names. Janet, JT, I know you got to write Ned. You're doing this for Ned. That's absolutely true. You got to own that shit. Roland, it's good to have you, brother. Cresta, it's so nice to see you. You're from the Philippines. Like, how cool is that? I met Cresta at a workshop in Thailand. She was sitting behind me. I'm talking to her, and I'm just like, hey, what's going on? And then I don't know. And I intuitively was like, Cresta, do you want an adjustment? I see people. I'm like, I feel like you need, she sits down. I do this adjustment on her. She's like, oh my gosh. And so she immediately follows me on Facebook. And now here you are learning some cool shit in how to become trigger proof, the most important skill that you can learn in 2020. Who are you doing this for? Russell, you're doing it for Leandra, absolutely. And your beautiful granddaughter as well. You have 2 grandkids now. Oh yeah, you have 2 grandkids. Your daughter, Phoenix, way to go, Roland. Who are you doing this for? I want to see the names. Jazmin, you're here. Andrea, I love to see you here, hun. Who are you doing this for? Why are you doing this for? It's important. This is part of your regulation. By the way, it's not like get into the meditation even. No. This conversation itself is directly designed for me to share my resonance of my nervous system with you. This is the fruits of my labor, of getting into my heart, getting into a kind of an energetic field that is aligned with kind of creating a ripple effect of viral healing. Healing gone viral is what I like to call it. Hashtag, what I'd like you to do is hashtag healing gone viral. What I would love for you to do is to think of about 3 or 4 people who are very important in your life that are a little bit off balance because of everything that's happening, because they're human beings, and you would want them, and their levels are a little bit high. Like, you make sure that you audit the people that you put into this community. They got to be high level people, not wanting to play the victim, that are, if they have their conspiracy theories, that's fine, but they understand that there might be some conspiracies at play, and that's fine. I'm all over that. And yet not so into it that they've just pretty much given up all their power, and they're just get caught up in the drama as a distraction for actually going in and taking care of the one thing they do have control over, for fuck's sakes. It's the one thing you do have. This conversation is all about the one thing that we do have control over, and that is where we put our attention. And my promise to you is, if you put your attention into this group, all of the content is carefully curated with neuroscience in mind to get your brains out of the amygdala into your prefrontal cortices, and to get you into your heart, out of alarm, as Dr. Russell Kennedy calls it, out of your state of alarm and into a real resource state where you now can become a contribution. In fact, I've seen many of you who are in this group, you are leaders yourselves, and you're actually stepping up and creating opportunities for other people. And so this healing is going viral, which I absolutely love. Meg, Michael, Jess, Mike, Isabella, Jake, Nikki, Nick, Kim, for God's sakes, can you take it easy, all right? Take it easy with all this responsibility. Go easy on it. Go easy on yourself. Jazmin is living myself. I'm getting better because I need that. Yeah, you are. Jazmin, have you noticed that since you've been participating, because you've literally been on every training, you're like stalking these posts. Have you noticed that you are starting to feel like you're more in control of your day rather than your day controlling you because you've taken this on? Is this true? I bet you it's true. Even though shit's just getting worse and worse, and it's probably going to get worse before it gets better, have you not noticed that you are feeling a lot more resource? I know we have a delay, but I'll give you a moment to write that in. So do you have any questions before we really get into another kind of pointing you in the direction of getting into your heart? Do you have any questions? What's been coming up for you? What's been challenging you? What's been the most impactful that you've digested? Maybe you've been on for like a couple minutes, or maybe you've seen every training twice a day. I'm here 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and then 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Twice a day with assignments for you. You take advantage of them. The first one was really all about getting you into your vision. So I'm going to do that right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you back into kind of like recapping all of because everyone builds on the one before. So the first thing I want you to do is to go back and see yourself from this point of view and see what vision you have for yourself after this whole this entire kind of whatever we call this crisis is over. And just to give you a picture, my vision is a beautiful home on the waterfront, in Victoria, which has plenty of space for retreats, which I will host twice a year in my home. And this home is big enough so that I can have friends and family come and stay and visit, because I'm going to be moving to the island, Victoria. And this is a retreat center. It's kind of like a world headquarters where community will come. There'll be a local bit and an international bit where I'll have retreats twice a year, where I'll be training facilitators in my methodology of coaching that I've come up with, which has been an integration of all of these things, like a facilitation certification program for coaches that want to go much deeper with their clients. There's some intuitive people out there that is amazing. That is necessary to be an amazing coach, and having a framework and a system and neuroscience to add to your genius would probably take you through the stratosphere. I want to do that. To create that, I see a global facilitation type of thing of people who are like, holy crap. Why? Because this is going to wake up the collective humanity that says, holy crap, there's a whole bunch of skeletons in my closet that have just been exposed, and I want to be better prepared for really shitty situations. And the most important things that I can learn are these 4 things: emotional regulation, healing relationships, because that's really all that matters. In case you haven't noticed, have you noticed that you've now been made aware, like, holy crap, am I ever grateful for my relationships? Versus where I was 18 months ago, holy shit, I don't have any relationships. Nobody, I don't feel a connection with anyone. I'm all alone. It was the worst Christmas ever. And I vowed, I said, I'm going to completely change that. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And what does it take? It takes you learning to become trigger proof. Emotional regulation, healing your relationships, connecting to purpose, and deepening intimacy. The 4 most important skills that you can invest in learning if in the new world. Because you thought it was just about making a lot of bucks. I thought so too. And I made all the bucks, and then it still wasn't enough. What's enough? When I'm able to regulate my emotions, when I'm able to be a stand for my family and who looks up to me as a leader, then I can be like, I got us, and feel that. Number 1, like emotional regulation. which is the ability to take feelings and not stuff them down, not avoid them, to actually be able to sit with them, and to be able to do that for another human being without enmeshing yourself into it. That's huge. That in itself is like 6 months of deep work to be able to master that. And the way that you master that is putting yourself into practice in relationship and learning how to unpack it as it comes. It's probably the greatest gift that you can give yourself, number one. Number two, healing relationships. Number three, connecting yourself to meaning or purpose. Why is that important? Well, look at what we're going through. The one thing that's keeping me sane right now, I was just on a call with Alex, on my team, my tech team. And he's like, how are you? I'm like, I actually feel great. Why? I'm isolated. It's been days since I've had physical contact with anybody. Well, I mean, it's been weeks because I haven't seen my partner in like 3 weeks now almost. It'll be a month or so before I see her. And I haven't really seen her. Her baby bump is growing, right? So that's really sad at that time. And there's this crazy time not being able to be there or be there for one another. But I'm connected to something that's greater than me. And when I'm connected to something that's greater than me, I have a why, all of this how, and I'm not complaining because it could be way worse. I'm blessed to have a job that I love, that I'm connected to. I'm blessed to still be able to earn. I'm blessed to, have connection, have meaning. Like, this is the greatest thing. This is not just for you. This is just as much for me as it is for you, because getting myself up and knowing that I have that responsibility and that meaning towards you in this community, and to have you reach out if you have a question, to be able to answer and serve you, is very meaningful. So that if you have a big enough why, it transcends whatever you're going through. And the fourth thing that's most important is intimacy. I have this ability to really have people feel seen around me, which I never had before because I couldn't see myself before this type of work. And it's such a gift to be able to now see if my partner's going through a rough day, to know how to hear her criticisms of me, which normally would be paralyzingly painful to feel, that I have to block and defend it and defend and justify myself, and to now be able to sit and hear it and go, oh, I see that, and to not have such a horrible reaction to what I perceive to be criticism. That's a good question that you want to ask in this. If somebody were to give you genuine criticism, how would you respond? Could you see that would be painful? How open are you to criticism? Do people withhold the truth from you because they know you're afraid of taking criticism? Ask yourself that question. That's how I was. My team couldn't be honest with me. People couldn't be, because I could never own it. I couldn't handle it. That's classic egocentric type of unconsciousness when we get to, which we can get to. And so to own that is very painful. It takes what's the word I'm looking for? A purification through fire type of process in order to heal. And what's happening is everyone's going through that now. We're all going through a purification through calamity. And the truth is coming out on the other side. And my wish for you is that your truth becomes an emergent leader. And the only thing in between you and that is all of the stories and all of the feelings and anger you're stuffing down, and your lack of willingness to actually go there and to heal it. And so I'm opening up. That hurts like hell at first. Yeah, had to lay down. Oh God. Yeah. Beautiful. Awesome. I love the 3 ladders. That's great. Definitely more chill. I knew I was on the right track. Now I know more. I'm using it more, which is highly important. Beautiful. So social media can actually be used to expand awakening and awareness rather than keep you, numbing from reality. I want to help you bring yourself into your body, into reality, into engagement. And so it depends on you engaging. Do you guys have any questions specifically for me? Any questions that are coming up for you? You know about the nervous system ladder and being able to recognize where you are. That's very important, the self-awareness. You know from last time how to get yourself up the ladder to ventral vagal. If you watch the old, that last training, yesterday's training, how important it is to keep yourself going up there. And you can't always stay there, but how do you get back up is by going and giving space to the wound. The trigger that you're having, the reason why you're stuck is because you're triggered by something that's happening now, but it's not now that's really confronting you. The constraint comes from before. And so every overview meditation that I do, what I'm teaching you is an active meditation to being able to going back there and getting into your body and resourcing and coming back into like a communion with that younger self, and that lesson that you guys have with one another, that connection that you have, all of the terminology, all of the language, all of the advice, all of the suggestions are exactly what you need right now so that you can show up in the unknown powerful. Does this make sense? Numb sucks. Exactly. Being numb sucks. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, let's just go right into it. And it's useful for you to be in this conversation because it's going to bring you into an awareness of what's happening in your body. So I'm going to get you to stand up, and I'm going to get you to open up your chest. So you're going to turn and open. You're going to twist your arms back, twisting them back, and open your arms and breathe in, surrender the exhale. You're squeezing your shoulder blades together, opening up that chest because you've been using this chest to protect you. You're in this, your devices, you're like this. It starts to create this fear-based posture. Posture is an adaptation to fear. And so if I'm like this all the time, reading bad news, I'm in fear. What we're going to do is we're going to approach the unknown together with an open heart. It's basically saying, hey, my heart is open. I'm open to receive, and my heart is open, filled with gratitude, with an overflow that I'm giving. That's the spirit that I want you to do it. And just connect with your breath now. And notice the life that's moving through you. Without you even being aware, it's actually moving through you. Just notice it. Let me guide you through this. Watch this. Notice the life that's moving through you that you're totally unaware of because you're in your mind worrying about doomsday. Notice all of the thinking that distracts you from feeling your feet on the floor or the temperature of the air on your skin. Notice the amount of congestion and where it's located in your body. Surrendering that exhale. And now as you notice where the feeling of a lack of safety comes from, notice it in your body. Notice that if you're holding your shoulders as earrings, they're tense, it's likely because, you know, this is your, makes sense. Your nervous system is doing its darndest to protect your organs, your carotid artery. You wear them as earrings. We see this in our chiropractic clinic all the time. I just put my hands on the shoulders and just say, borrowing from my good friend, Dr. Russ, you are safe in this moment. Just acknowledge your safety that you have in this moment. Surrendering the exhale, and notice the tension of the muscles on your face. Can you pay attention to that? Can you pay attention to how you're potentially clenching your jaw? When you bring your awareness to those muscles, just let them all relax and surrender on the exhale. And as you notice the sense of alarm that's happening in your body, the sense of a lack of safety, what I'm going to invite you to do is to go back to the earliest memory where that came up. Hey, Lisa, Nikki, and Kyla, what's up? Caught us mid-meditation. Go back and notice yourself in the scene of that previous unknown, that previous uncertainty that was happening. Was it 9/11? Was it when you were 15? There will be an earlier memory pop up. Just give it some time, and it'll be one of those, it feels just like when. You want to get into the just like when. And if you stay in your body, an earlier memory will pop up, and I want you to go in and join yourself there. Kind of like you see somebody who's grieving the loss of someone, you sit down next to them and you just kind of hold space. Can you see yourself in that previous sense of alarm and uncertainty and lack of safety? I'm going to encourage you to just join yourself there. And as you do, you're going to kind of reach out to that younger self. Could have been 2 years ago. Whatever is kind of a remnant, whatever is resonant with the current state that you're going through now. And you're going to join yourself there, and you're going to basically tell them exactly what they must be feeling. It must have been hard to be so scared. Get in their head. What questions do they have? Let them know that you can see all of their questions, and that, here's the key, that all of their questions and concerns completely make sense. Why does their concerns and questions completely make sense? Why is their fear so understandable given where they were at the time? Let them know that you see them, that they're seen by you. Maybe even if you're feeling frisky enough, you want to maybe give them a little hug or reach your hand out and see if they'll take it. If you've never done this work before, don't be surprised if they don't take it. Don't take it as rejection. They don't believe you. They don't trust you. That was the age where they stopped trusting love. So they're not just going to give it freely to you. They're going to make you work for it. That happens to a lot of our clients. You just keep going. Just say, I understand why you feel that way. I'm here regardless, even if you don't approve of me. You want to start communing with that younger self and letting them know that they feel seen and that all of their feelings are valid. And as you do that and get a connection with them, you're going to start to feel their body relax and ease into the safety of your connection and embrace. That's the magical moment where you get a felt sense, relaxation, and regulation of the nervous system. There's this feeling of safety that starts to emerge that's self kind of created, the best of all kind. Go in and reconnect with her and tell her or him that you totally see them. And now, here's what you're going to do. You're going to tell them everything that you wished that they wanted to hear at the time. In other words, what advice do you have for them? Take a moment and give them all of the advice that they're needing, that talks to all of the mysteries going on in their mind. Go ahead and do that right now. Pay attention to what you're saying. Tell them how they got through it. Tell them the angels that showed up at the right time and all of the strength that they encountered and emerged because of it. Really let them know what a gift it was, and that they might not see it right now. They might not see it then, but trust me, it'll be apparent, and you're going to get through it, and it's going to be badass, better than you could have imagined. Trust me on that. Feel their absolute kind of relaxation of, thank God, like the relief they feel when they have your reassurance that everything's going to be okay. Paying close attention to the words that you used. And now you're going to ask them, what is it that you need from me? And listen. And now take that advice and bring it with you to your current reality where you're sitting right now on this floating spaceship, floating through the atmosphere, floating through the universe, and you can't stay, that you have a limited time. And you have these gifts that have been given to you because of those experiences you went through. What is it that you would do? What is it that you would love to do? And what you're going to do is you're going to give yourself the very same advice that your inner self just gave you earlier. Your younger self earlier. And the message from your younger self back. And now you're going to create a vision for yourself moving forward of your future self fully resourced with that new information. As these new creative ideas start to bubble of what to do next, it's going to start to come as like an explosion. I want you to see the vision of the fulfillment of that dream. You want to see it in real time. You want to feel it in your body. What would that feel like? For what happens after all this coronavirus and beyond. The relationships that you have, the contribution that you're making, the abundance you're giving and receiving in fair exchange. Your ability to lead. Feel it in your body right now. And now, I want you to ask the universe for a sign as you're moving into the forward vision of the future instead of constantly being struck by past events that you're triggered by. Ask the universe for a sign that leaves you with no doubt that there's a connection, that there's some sort of a co-creation going on. Ask for that sign now. And you can open your eyes. All right. So what I'd like to hear is, for those of you, there's only a few of you on, what was the message that your younger self gave you? I'd love to hear what was said, or if you have any questions about it, takeaways, I'd love to hear it. This is your opportunity. Go ahead and ask. But what that's doing is that's helping you dance with uncertainty. That's the whole point of this. The way you dance with uncertainty is not by trying to think your way out of a problem, is by pausing with your uncertainty, regulating that disconnection, going back and connecting with yourself, and through that interaction emerges what your next move is going to be. For mine, the message was, make sure you're playful with everybody. Make sure you give them opportunities to be playful and fun. And so I asked you to post up poems or whatever you've done. We've had Maria post one of her poems, and Roland posted one of his poems, which is amazing. This is what we want. I want this community to utilize one another to be able to share, because we transform with community. So the last thing that I want to ask you before I sign off, if nobody has any other questions, what are you getting out of these trainings? What would you love to learn? What questions do you have? And here's the other thing I'm thinking of, because of the amazing questions and feedback that I'm getting, I'm thinking of putting together about a 3 to 5 hour, like hardcore, deep compression training to answer some of those questions that you have been burning in your mind of changing your unconscious programming, being able to handle your triggers, turning a trigger into self-love, customizing your kind of meditation to your wounding, all of these questions. What would you love to learn? If you were to spend 3 hours with me in a group training, it's not just one way where you're just typing, it's actually a group training where you're getting some coaching from me. I'm able to kind of help pinpoint the exact source of the problem. That's one of my superpowers. I listen to your nonverbal cues. I start to get this intuitive reading and I just go right in, plus the methodology that I have with neuroscience. It's become like wizardry. It's so much fun. Yeah, so Jazmin says, I think I may have needed more time. My heart started skipping. My stomach flipped like I was going to puke. Now I'm just ready to lay down. Digging up these old emotions will do that. The thing that I want you to get is, instead of fighting it, Jazmin, I want you to actually put your hand on your chest and basically say, you know what? It's okay for me to feel fearful about that. Can you love and accept the part of you that was scared and fearful? Because what's happened is, Jazmin, you had some post-traumatic stress, right? So for you to go back and visit those, it's going to stir up some old emotions. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you physically. There's nothing wrong with you physically. This is what you're up against, is you have a chemical concoction of cortisol stored in your body, and what the part of the digging up means to kind of stir it up a little bit. And that's okay. That's part of the healing crisis. I want you to welcome it. I want you to embrace it, and to make sure you ask questions and to keep going. And you want to maybe even like reach out and jump on a call with Kim to see if you're actually ready to heal it. Because the whole point of this whole coronavirus thing is becoming aware of all of our unhealed wounds. And it's time for you to really jump all in healing them, not just kind of like, let's just skim the surface. But some of you have been reaching out and it's like, oh, it's time for me to heal. If that's the case for you, I'm just going to leave a link for those of you who are actually Nima.com chat. It's a application for those of you who are actually ready to invest in a solution, and are wanting to, like, okay, I'm going to invest in learning how to become trigger proof. I'm going to invest in making a list of all of those old wounds and actually repairing them, so that when I walk into the unknown, to my next job, to my next relationship, wherever, limbo, or creating the relationship and job that I want, that I can show up as my most resource self and have a self-care practice of a active meditation that's tailor fit to my specific wound, not Nima's, but your specific wound. That's who's ready, and these are only people ready to become the leaders of their families, so that they can actually transform the nervous systems of all the people around them. And dare I say it, start to develop a tribe of your own, of people that you could start to help take some responsibility for. This is for people who are putting their hands up and saying, I'm ready to break the cycle of intergenerational trauma. I stand for healed families. That's basically why we're here. And seeing one family after another in our program, like Claudia, who could hardly speak English at the beginning of her program. She figured all of the work out, completed all of her past traumas on her mother and father, and this Christmas was the best Christmas of her life. Or Nikki, where she felt totally connected with her son, her family. She was no longer a victim to the past, was able to regulate herself, more connected than ever. Or Nikki, who took on this work, I don't know if you're still on and you're paying attention. Nikki, who had her first Christmas this year after taking on the work, doing DeMartini work for over a decade, taking on this work, and for the very first time she had a Christmas where she could share her boundaries with others. And she didn't take on the drama of other people. Her first Christmas that she never got sick. She usually gets deathly ill during Christmas. Why Christmas? That's when all of the triggers are dug up. People are going to start getting sick. You'll notice people after coronavirus are going to start getting sick, dropping like flies, even after the whole stress thing of the virus is done. There's going to be massive challenges with digestive issues, hormonal issues. It's like a post-traumatic stress disorder. If you don't do this work, you carry post-traumatic stress disorder with you. I believe that we all have a variety of post-traumatic stress disorder. We're carrying it in our bodies. This is just triggering it all up. This is basically exposing our unhealed wounds. My suggestion is digest this free content, do as much as you can. You're getting a lot. And when you're ready to actually have a tailor-fit plan that's based on your specific wounding and getting our help guiding you up that mountain, reach out and chat with Kim, get an application when you're ready to invest. This is one of those things that you jump in so that you can become that greater version. And so you're more than welcome. Those of you who've just gotten started this week, like, I'm so proud of the fact that there's been people that have been like, no, like, this is the time to do it. There's no better time. You're locked in your homes, you're around family, you want a time to heal, this is it. You want a time to connect, this is it. You want a time to get connected with your higher self and go back to your spiritual practices, this is it. You wanted to start networking with higher level people having a higher level consciousness, this is it. This is the time to do it. And when you're ready, just reach out. I'd love to chat with you. Love to see exactly what will happen is Kim will see how ready you are and what's going on and see if you are a fit. And what will happen is you'll hop on a call with me where literally we come and we figure out exactly what your patterns are, your unconscious patterns that have been kind of responsible for all of this. And then we guide you to a specific plan with the tools, the support to move ahead. It's pretty badass. And within 3 months, you will be blown away of what you can do. It reminds me of Courtney, who basically is a classic dissociator. Whenever she gets triggered, she loses connection and she's not there half the time with her 2 kids and her husband. She's checked out most of the time. She's like, I leave my body all the time. Like, I'm not here. She was in dorsal. What she discovered through the process, which you learned yesterday, was she was in dorsal vagal. And she learned how to recognize when she was there. She saw what her tells were, and she had specific action steps to move past that. Plus, what contributed to that is the fact that she had all of these old traumas and wounds that we took the overview method, myself and Eilina and Kim and the whole community, and helped her clear and peel back that baggage. So that, plus the tools to be able to handle triggers moving forward, and now she looks like a different person on the group calls. Her face is engaged, she's present. Instead of constantly being overwhelmed and running around, she's actually present and there and in her body. It's just huge what happens to you when you just say, yeah, I've been avoiding. It's not going to be comfortable, but I'm willing to face whatever fears that I have. Let me know what would open up for you right now if you actually took that on. What would change if you actually took on the work of healing those old wounds for real? And not, I mean, it's always a work in progress, but being able to shorten the time span of your triggers from being knocked out of balance for this long to this, being able to jump back in when you have a fracture, you're able to repair and really go back into co-regulation. What would that do for you? What would open up? Going to sign off. All right, hun. Take care, Ange. See you tomorrow, hun. What would open up for you if you took that on? I'm curious. I invite you to explore it. If you're more intrigued, if there's a little voice calling you and there's fear, bring them both and have that conversation. I'd love to hear what's possible for you. So if you have no further questions, I did it and was petting my dog while doing it. Great. Message for my younger self: the world needs you, but don't forget about me. You are only worthy of love you give me. Oh, Roland. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Wow. That's beautiful. That's so awesome, dude. All right. So if you have no further questions, I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. my time. That's early morning in Australia, and that's afternoon. Yeah, we'll see you then, and ask me anything, and let me know specifically, if you were to spend 3 to 5 hours with me on a virtual workshop, what would you love to learn? What is it that you want to take out of this? What do you want to leave with? And I promise I will create a training to give you that. This is no better time than the present, but reach out and click on that link and fill out the application and chat with Kim, and then we'll be able to see where you want to go. Even if we're a fit at all, like we'll be able to say, no, maybe, you know, I've been able to turn away several people because they just weren't the right fit, and we're able to see if you are, because if you are, you have some powerful transformations, powerful healings. Signing off from this episode of Trigger Proof, our daily show, twice daily show. And this is basically healing gone viral. I'm so freaking jet lagged right now. I'm going to go to sleep. Good night, guys.